It's another huge week of new indie games, including a Souls-like Metroidvania that might just be a Game of the Year contender, along with tactics titles, puzzle games, platformers, beat-em-ups, and more. So let's begin with Clonizer, a roguelite tactics title with deck building and cards, where you are tasked with expanding the reach of Clone Po, a corporation aiming to clonize the universe. You deploy clonees onto procedurally generated planets, each featuring unique terrain and alien adversaries, as you capture areas, construct buildings, and engage in battles, with their actions influenced by the cards you play, with it having progression through card upgrades, items, and blueprints with a dose of humor and great cartoony art. One of the cleverest titles that I have come across is Erenshor, one that looks like a classic MMO like World of Warcraft, but with the twist being that it is a completely single-player RPG. You are doing classic MMO stuff like taking on quests, killing enemies, getting loot, returning to town to sell and craft, and then to venture further out, but where the world is fully simulated, including CPU-controlled player characters. These characters grow independently of your character in the world, but will be ready to party up if you want to raid together, for example. So if you don't want to pay a monthly fee but still want something MMO-like, this might be of interest. This video is brought to you by Valhalla Design Works, the latest drop from video game book publisher Lost in Cult, who are known for products that might as well be art pieces which preserve video game culture. This, of course, is about Valhalla Cyberpunk Bartender Action, a narrative simulation visual novel from 2016, which, in their own words, is about waifus, technology, and post-dystopia life, where talking to, mixing drinks, and getting to know the cast of characters is the point of that game. Experience Glitch City like never before in this new book, which includes exclusive interviews with the creators, a behind-the-scenes look at the game's evolution, the challenges they faced when making games out of Venezuela, deep dives in game mechanics and the development process, and so much more, with gorgeous art and plenty of eye candy in the book itself. The base version is a softcover book with over 200 pages, with the hardback deluxe edition including other goodies like 2 A3 posters, 4 A5 art cards, 4 pins, a neon slipcase, an in-universe newspaper clipping, and a physical copy of a 30-page short story that the developers wrote. So if interested, you can place your order via the link in the description below, with the deluxe edition being a limited time offer until June 5th, 2025, so don't miss out. A competitive multiplayer party game is Kitchen Wars, one that throws you into the cutthroat world of the restaurant business, where 2 teams of up to 4 players each compete to manage their restaurants while actively sabotaging your opponent. Your primary objective is to serve your customers promptly, ensuring their satisfaction to earn revenue, where this can be reinvested in purchasing upgrades and items that enhance your kitchen's efficiency. At the same time, you can disrupt the other team's operations by using melee weapons, throwing garbage over so that they have to clean it up, or to steal their chairs, which reduces seating capacity, looking like the exact kind of chaos which party games are known for, and looks like fun with friends. A stylish and intense looking 2D platformer is Bionic Bay, one that combines elements of the precision platformer and puzzle platformer, since the main gimmick is a teleportation instrument which allows you to swap places with objects in the world. You must cleverly use this mechanic in real time, swapping places with items or even enemies to get past deadly traps and to solve complex environmental challenges. Each level pushes your thinking and reflexes to their limits, demanding precise timing as you dodge explosive hazards, manipulate gravity, and activate ancient machines, with everything bound to the in-game physics, which gives it some unpredictability. This comes to us from one of the co-creators of Badland, a side-scrolling, almost runner-type game which really took off on mobile, and you can see some of the same artistic influence here in how this game looks, with use of light and silhouettes in particular. Love indie games? Sign up to my newsletter to get a weekly dose of what's hot, along with some news and of course, weekly game giveaways, so if interested, link is in the description below. A turn-based tactics title of note is Chains of Freedom, set within a collapsing fictional Eastern European nation where freedom hangs by a thread. As the leader of an elite military squad, you get embroiled in a plot involving a rogue scientist and mind control serums, but soon realize that nothing is as straightforward as it seems. Turn-based combat looks like your classic XCOM or Mutant Year Zero inspired title with a range of melee and ranged weapons such as meat hooks and flamethrowers, which is a little bit more varied than your regular guns. Also, you need to scavenge for scarce ammunition and medical supplies in between battles, with the twist being that there are mutant creatures and biocrystals as well, so it is not just a brown military title, rather adding the supernatural elements and looks pretty good. Other games begin with Block Fortress 2, a game that sure looks like Minecraft tower defense, but in which you have to construct and defend your own fortress in a dynamic, action-packed environment. Choose a planet, build your base with a variety of turrets, traps and specialized defenses, and prepare for relentless attacks from diverse enemies. Engage in combat using a wide array of weapons and equipment, from rocket launchers to jetpacks in both first and third person, with of course the block by block construction resulting in endless customization possibilities, allowing you to create and share your own levels, set up massive battles, or, on the flip side, to design intricate stealth missions as well. The original was pretty popular on mobile, so it's interesting to see them take the lead, but it does seem to be going under the radar. A creepy looking title is Chasmal Fear, which, interestingly, is a first-person tactical shooter set within a deserted underwater research facility. Utilizing a body cam perspective and Unreal Engine 5 style hyper-realism, the game ramps up the tension and immersion through their depiction of the eerie corridors of the Magnus facility. Resource management is critical, like survival horror games, where ammunition and supplies are scarce, so you need to be tactical about when to fight and when to flee. A unique feature is the monster mutation system, where defeated enemies can evolve into more formidable forms if not properly neutralized, adding more unpredictability, where choices like going loud or choosing stealth will affect the state of the world, with randomized events adding more variation for each playthrough. There's also 2-player co-op support if you need a buddy, where the game's difficulty does adjust for another player, looking like a well-made title for fans of the genre. A creepy, cute title is CTHULOOT, a clever play on words, which is also a cooperative arcade adventure game where up to 4 players play as semi-competent looters seeking mythical relics across mysterious realms. Set in liminal spaces teetering between reality and madness, the game emphasizes teamwork, agility, and strategic coordination. Each level presents unique challenges requiring you to navigate traps and solve puzzles while avoiding invoking the Great Old Ones, with Lovecraftian themes, but somehow putting a family-friendly spin on things. You are also aiding a character known as Lord Morgashan in reclaiming his place among the Great Old Ones, unlocking new skills through his collection of supernatural watches, so perhaps you'll be the inadvertent accomplices to a cosmic horror, but does look like fun with friends.
No, wait, stop. You don't want to press this button. Wait, do you realize you will make me look bad in the eyes of my boss? Please stop, I have something way more interesting to show you. How about how a game trailer is made?
A couple of you did mention do not press the button or you'll delete the multiverse in the comments on my videos, so thank you for pointing that out, where this first-person narrative-driven experience is along the lines of the Stanley Parable or The Beginner's Guide, in which a mysterious figure known as the developer constantly challenges your decisions. The game gives you a seemingly simple instruction: do not press the red button, but of course, the temptation to defy this leads to a series of unpredictable and often humorous consequences. Meta-narrative games like this are always interesting and can be quite funny if done right, especially since the developer provides commentary that reacts to your actions, so I'm quite curious about this myself. I like my farming/life sim games like Stardew Valley, which is why Faun Town got my attention. It adds in some automation and tower defense elements in addition to the core farming systems where you crash land on a mysterious island with no memories of the past, now having to find a way to gather resources and advance up the tech tree to repair your ship and to get home, wherever that may be. Begin by gathering basic resources like wood and ore to establish a foundation for your base, then construct machines, set up power grids, automate production, and eventually unlock technology like warp coils and robots to help with activities like manufacturing, gathering, and farming, optimizing efficiency as you go along, which will probably result in you tearing the entire thing up to rebuild once you figure it out. There are various biomes such as jungles, deserts, and canyons, each offering unique challenges and resources blended in nicely with the tower defense style combat, with a variety of enemies and towers. There are also hidden messages, cryptic notes, and eerie underground chambers spread throughout the island, giving it a sense of mystery and looks very promising, being the runner-up to Hidden Gem of the Week. Okay, I'll be brief on this one since I don't know how many of you own a VR headset, since I sure don't have one, but if you do, GORN 2 will probably be of interest. The follow-up to one of the most popular VR titles, and is a first-person gladiator combat game with physics. There is over-the-top cartoon violence as you utilize an arsenal of 35 unique weapons, each designed to deliver satisfying carnage from massive hammers to unconventional tools of destruction. The story is about confronting the 5 sons of the god of the afterlife across different heavenly realms, each presenting their own distinct arenas filled with unique traps and formidable enemies, where it comes to us from developer Free Lives, who have the ability to hop from one genre to the next, but given how well received the original was, this should be pretty good as well. Developer Chump Squad appears to be specializing in puzzle games, having made Kain in 2020, and has taken 4+ years to complete Lab Rat, a Sokoban-style block-pushing puzzle game, but with a GLaDOS twist. Yes, indeed, your companion in this world is a metrics-obsessed artificial intelligence which monitors your performance and survey responses after puzzles and develops a hilariously misguided understanding of humanity as a result. Solve over 100 genre-bending puzzles which involve blocks, lasers, and electricity, and is perhaps timely given the increase in prevalence of AI in our daily lives, of how algorithmically generated interactions can become absurd really quickly, but as a puzzle game, this looks very clever and should be great. A neat little pixel art roguelite deck builder is Lost for Swords, where you are ascending ever-shifting towers, but where each card in your deck shapes the very rooms that you explore. The dungeon's layout is constrained to a 5x5 grid, where your deck and dungeon cards intertwine, creating a unique puzzle with every run, with this playing more like a dungeon crawler as you direct your hero on which tile to move to next. Equipment cards can only be used once, so you need to plan your strategy and route, and in between floors you can upgrade your equipment with synergies to discover among the over 100 cards per character, of which there are 3. There are 6 unique towers as well as random events, and even a level editor, looking to be a refreshing change for this subgenre. Developer Bossa Studios, best known for Surgeon Simulator and I Am Bread, has grown to a substantially large company, so much so that I had to put an asterisk next to Lost Skies, their next title, which is a third-person, open-world survival crafting game set on floating islands in the sky. Yes, as mentioned before, this is not the first game to have this floating islands setting, but does have potential as you explore, craft, and fight your way through the world to uncover remnants of ancient civilizations and harness their advanced technology. Central to your experience is the construction and customization of your very own skyship, which serves as both your home and primary means of traversal. The shipbuilding system allows for intricate design choices, balancing factors like durability, agility, and firepower, allowing for customization. Traversal mechanics include a physics-based grappling hook, glider, and wingsuit, fitting perfectly with the setting, with co-op being a focus, but you should be able to play solo, where there is hype around this and could be the next big survival game. Alright, here's another title that might be not so indie, but LUNAR Remastered Collection is a remastered version of LUNAR Silver Star Story Complete from 1996 on the Sega Saturn and PlayStation, as well as LUNAR Eternal Blue from 1994 on the Sega CD. Games which look like classic turn-based JRPGs, which does provide a nostalgia hit. I did not play the originals, so this is especially of interest, packaged up all nice and modern and conveniently on Steam, where things do come around full circle and it might be able to be passed off as a modern indie game, but the bottom line is, if you love JRPGs, this will be of interest. I'm not quite sure if there is any traditional game here, since Lushfoil Photography Sim is a photography-focused title which, using the power of Unreal Engine 5, has meticulously recreated real-world locations including the French Alps, Japan's Yamadara, and Australia's Castle Rock Beach. You are exploring in first person and using a fully featured in-game DSLR camera to take photographs, offering controls such as manual focus, aperture, white balance and exposure, but also some video game elements like being able to adjust the environmental conditions like lightning, fog and weather so that you can compose the perfect shot. The video game part comes in the exploration, since you can find a boat or a drone that allows you to access new areas and perspectives, with the developer being an avid hiker and photographer in real life, so this looks like an extension of himself. I love pixel art, so I think that Milord looks absolutely fantastic, a kingdom management and city building title in which you play as a medieval ruler, tasked with managing and expanding your fiefdom through strategic decision making and resource management. You are able to construct various structures that bolster your economy and military strength, which is the city building part, which is in addition to the governance adventure game aspect, as you hold court and hear the various petitions from your subjects presenting choices that can lead to alliances or conflicts, each with its own set of consequences. There is a combat system which requires you to make tactical decisions, such as determining the number of soldiers to deploy and selecting appropriate strategies to outmaneuver your opponents, but does also have the luck of the role involved as you fend off bandits or hostile troops. Your leadership style, be it benevolent or tyrannical, will influence the morale and prosperity of your realm, and looks like quite the ambitious title for strategy game fans. On paper, this next title might be one of the most popular games of the week, since Neighbours Suburban Warfare is a 4v4 competitive multiplayer FPS for lack of a better term, in which eccentric residents vie to protect their homes while attempting to demolish their neighbour's house. There are unique playable characters to choose from, including a retired boxer grandma to a mischievous child wielding a slingshot, with character variety and team composition here of course affecting the flow of battle. You are using a range of everyday objects as weapons, from baseball bats to frying pans, but can also employ defensive strategies like traps, reinforcing windows and safeguarding household essentials from enemy raids. Again, looking like pure multiplayer chaos and should be fun. Indie games too are not immune from the remaster or remake phenomenon more commonly seen in AAA games, where it is a safer option to take a successful old game and polish up the visuals and tighten up the gameplay to resell to a new audience, since I suppose they don't have to spend as much money on the story, script or game design, which is exactly the case here with Phantom Breaker Battlegrounds Ultimate, a remaster of a game from 2013 which was on the Xbox 360. Now you might be thinking, this is pixel art, so what is there to remaster? But upscaling pixel art can be tricky, since it is not as simple as click on the corner and enlarge a sprite, but also this is being remade in Unreal Engine 5, which should give them more room to tweak and upgrade the game. This is a spin-off of the anime fighting game Phantom Breaker, but with chibi versions of the characters and as a side-scrolling beat-em-up, which does look great, so if you're itching for one of these, do get this game. I was intrigued by the look of REPOSE when I came across it, looking like an old school first-person dungeon crawler but sci-fi and with horror overtones. You are a new employee at a cryptic corporation tasked with retrieving damaged oxygen tanks scattered throughout a sprawling surreal facility. Each action that you take, be it a step, a shot, or triggering a trap, consumes precious energy, which means that careful planning and strategic movement are required. Combat is minimalistic, yet intense, where your primary tools are a flashlight to reveal hidden dangers, an axe for close encounters, and a handgun reserved strictly for emergencies, with a variety of dangers including tentacled monsters that you need to deal with. Depleting energy causes you to collapse, returning you to the last bed you rested in, which serves as a checkpoint, and also doubles as a place to restore your energy with a cast of interesting characters that might be friend or foe as well. Pardon my French, but Sacre Bleu is an interesting looking action platformer with a decidedly French influence where you play as captain of the musketeers unjustly imprisoned in the formidable Bastille and have to fight your way out. Luckily, you are armed with a steampunk blunderbuss which gives you bullet time for some reason, allowing you to perform aerial maneuvers and to engage in fluid combat sequences. Each encounter is graded, encouraging you to refine your skills and to achieve a higher rank, with the main mission of collecting components to construct an airship, which is your ultimate escape plan. Oh, and did I mention zombies? The French aristocracy has transformed into them, which provides a convenient foil for the action, including gigantic boss zombies with fantastic minute-to-minute action and looks good. I last covered Seafrog in my video on upcoming 2D platformers, with this having an interesting movement and traversal system that is like a Tony Hawk or Ollie Ollie game. Our mechanic frog protagonist is stranded at the bottom of a mysterious oceanic sinkhole and must master the traversal abilities of a rocket-powered wrench in order to escape, sliding, grinding, and performing aerial tricks across skate park-like stages set within derelict ships and sea-themed environments. There is a focus on momentum and precision, requiring you to string together combos through tricks, but also by jumping on enemies, allowing you to boost through obstacles and to reach new areas. There are also various mod chip upgrades for the wrench, which gives it new abilities with a vibrant cartoonish art style and a humorous narrative as well. I'm a big fan of developer Draknak and Friends, who are puzzle game developers, with Monsters Expedition from 2020 being a very cleverly designed game, which is why the Electrifying Incident, a monster mini expedition, is of interest. Instead of an archipelago, this takes place within the confines of a facility where you're armed solely with a mechanical grabber arm. Navigate through a series of electrified hazards and locked doors to prevent an impending reactor meltdown as you manipulate boxes and other objects from a distance, sometimes even around corners, to solve the puzzles. In puzzle game fashion, each puzzle builds upon the last, introducing new complexities that test your problem-solving skills, with it designed to encourage experimentation, allowing you to learn from mistakes and to refine your approach without significant penalties, looking like quite the cerebral entry and is the hidden gem of the week. A neat Magic Academy management sim is The Fool's Apprentice, adding ragdoll physics for a bit more fun, where you are tasked with managing the arcane conservatory, guide a cohort of inexperienced apprentices through the perilous journey of mastering arcanal science, a fusion of magic and technology, where your responsibilities include enrolling new students, directing their studies, and employing spells to influence their behavior, such as levitation and mind control. However, the path to enlightenment is fraught with danger, and not all apprentices may survive the rigorous training, definitely reminding me of The Sims. There will be narrative dilemmas and important choices to make that will shape the future of your institution and its relationship with the city's population, with a bunch of customization options for the academy as well, and is an interesting take on the tycoon genre. This one's for indie game developers. The free indie game marketing resources are ready, so sign up via the link in the description below to get it in your mailbox. Warside is essentially Advance Wars in all but name, a spiritual successor / clone of one of Intelligent Systems' best series, which are mostly known for their association with Nintendo. You command a diverse army across land, air, and sea in this turn-based tactics game, choosing from 14 different commanders, each offering unique passive abilities and powerful battle powers that can shift the tide of battle when timed strategically. Engage in over 30 single-player missions ranging from classic battles to escort, rescue, and infiltration sequences set in varied environments like forests, deserts, snowfields, and toxic wastelands, which have their own unique effects. There are more than 30 unit types, including tanks, artillery, submarines, warships, helicopters, and jets, countering each other in a rock-paper-scissors-like fashion, with additional features like online and local multiplayer and a built-in mission editor, all wrapped up with fantastic pixel art. An intense-looking first-person survival horror RPG is Stygian Outer Gods, which is set in the original game world of Stygian, itself drawing upon Lovecraftian mythology, but has some elements specific to this world. This is set in the fog-laden town of Kingsport, where you play as a mercenary accompanying a mysterious girl, beginning your journey with a shipwreck that leaves you stranded in a place where nightmares have taken root for centuries. You have to make your way through treacherous environments, including dark mines, abandoned mansions, and eerie forests, each harboring secrets and dangers that test your sanity. Combat is a last resort, ammunition is scarce, and enemies are formidable, making stealth and strategic avoidance essential for survival, with your mental state playing a critical role, as exposure to the horrors of Kingsport can lead to psychological afflictions that alter gameplay and interactions. Crafting tools, medicines, and remedies becomes vital as you seek to maintain your grip on reality, with impactful choices to make as well, leading to multiple possible endings. Another Chinese Souls-like title is Echoes of Samsara, following in the footsteps of Black Myth Wukong, but with much less hype. You play as the first disciple of the Sword Saint, exploring both the physical and spiritual world, with the classic stamina-based Souls-like combat system that requires precise timing and strategic counterattacks, but with a dose of Sekiro, since you can build up an enemy's momentum bar to break their defenses, which can lead to devastating finishing moves. This draws upon traditional Chinese folklore and martial arts, with techniques such as Tai Chi, swordplay, and spear fighting, with the narrative, story, setting, and art direction having the same kind of influence and thus look good. A very interesting entry is White Knuckle, a first-person platformer with a horror vibe, where you are exploring and climbing out of the depths of a decaying underground megastructure known as Substructure 17. Survival hinges on your ability to ascend through this environment using precision-based climbing mechanics as you climb and take leaps of faith to ascend even higher. I wasn't expecting this to be a roguelite, but it is, so if you fall to your presumed death, you will get to try again with new upgrades used alongside a variety of tools such as pitons, rebars, and adrenaline injectors. The environment is not your only adversary, as an ever-looming entity known as the Mass relentlessly pursues you, adding a constant sense of urgency, looking very intense, but will be an early access release with just 3 out of 7 planned areas, so it will not be complete, but nonetheless looks like quite the prospect, which brings us to this dark fantasy Souls-like Metroidvania, which is a combination of genres and setting which people absolutely love. See Bloodborne, Elden Ring, Dark Souls, and of course Salt and Sanctuary, which makes Mandragora Whispers of the Witch Tree high potential as well, with 6 playable classes, each with their own mini Path of Exile style skill tree and plenty of challenge. Watch this video for more upcoming Metroidvanias.
And the power he bestows on me, can we thrive in a corrupt world?